And we're live.
Wonderful.
So this is Meenoo Rami joining you from Seattle, and I'm on with Allison Hogan, who I just had the pleasure of chatting for a while before we got on. This is ILA Hangout on the air. We're a couple of days out from the conference. Some people are heading to the conference as early as tomorrow. I will be arriving on Saturday, and I am looking forward to all the learning that will take place. I'll give a moment for Allison to say hi and tweet this link out.
Hi, I'm Allison Hogan, and I'm thrilled to kind of give you a kind of my summary and my nuts and bullets from attending previous ILA conferences or IRA conferences. But we just want to have create a space for us to get together and kind of pass along tips and best practices. And attending one of these conferences, it can definitely be overwhelming as you attend a big conference. But I know a few of you will be arriving tonight to attend pre-conference sessions tomorrow. But the conference will kick off on Saturday, where they'll have the opening sessions for the day, and it'll run until Monday. I am very excited to be attending this conference, not only to share kind of my passion and my learning in a session I'll be presenting, but also to connect with some of my colleagues I've been on Twitter chats with, or have been doing some ed camps with globally, and through the internet. It's nice to kind of see them in person as opposed to online. So I can't wait to see some of my colleagues that I see through Twitter.
I love how social media has changed the experience of conference going. Like, people take airport selfies together and they give hugs the first time that they meet one another. Things that would not have been possible without intentional spaces that I think teachers have done an amazing job creating and using hashtags to collect and curate great ideas. So, I feel like in some ways, conferences have become sort of like homecoming, and a gathering space for teacher friends. And I think this certainly will be one of those occasions. I was actually emailing back and forth from some folks from Heinemann earlier this week. And I was like, I cannot wait to see my Heinemann family. They're my publisher, but I think of them like family. And I was like, I am, homesick for you guys. So I cannot wait to see you. So that's just such a cool opportunity that we all have. This will be my second IRA/ILA conference. So I'm just a newbie. I'm with you, all the people who are like, what am I getting myself into? I'm with you. St. Louis is supposed to be hot this weekend. It's going to be really hot. We have some tips later in the hangout for you. But I also want to say how excited I am that I get to go and present and learn and see my friends. I'm really excited. Allison, do you want to just maybe giving maybe a space for us to talk about each other's sessions, and then maybe we'll get into some tips.
Absolutely. No, that sounds great. I'll go ahead and kick off your session since it's first. Mia's going to be presenting on Saturday from 11 to 12. She's going to be talking about teacher practices in a connected world, specifically just how teachers can provide their students with an authentic audience and how students can have mentors. And I believe you might mention something to do with social media and kind of what we've been talking about, just how you connect on Twitter, but how often when you see people in person, it kind of gives them a space to say, like, wow, I've noticed the work you've been doing with this, or like, I've loved the discussions you've been having on the book I wrote. And I think it just it opens the door so much. And when I was reading about your session specifically, I instantly thought of Daniel Pink's book Drive, where he talks about how we have to be motivated to have an audience, and that really helps to drive our work. And
Yeah.
after you present your session, you're going to be very busy because you'll be dashing off to do a book signing at 1. So that's amazing.
Yeah. One of the things that I want to add about my session is whenever I present anywhere, for me, it's a chance for me to learn alongside my colleagues, and it's a time for me to take a lens of examining the ideas that I stand by, and even be open to criticism or pushback. So if you come to my session, I hope it'll be a conversation. I hope to make it an interactive one. I hope you even like walk away with things that you might want to do in your classroom, in September when we start back up again. So I hope the things that I bring to you, the ideas and practices that I bring to you are applicable to your teaching lives, and it's not just like a sit and get session. I hope we actually make things together while we're there. And then the second thing I want to say is I never ever present without giving credit and credence to other teachers. So if you come to my session, I hope you see wide variety of practice in becoming a connected educator and helping our students become connected to one another. I hope you see wide variety of ideas from classrooms around the country. And I hope you take inspiration and are able to apply it to your own practice. So I'm really, really excited. I'm coming off of a week of work and going from one conference here in Seattle to right into ILA. So I will need your energy and I will need your love because it's going to be a very tiring week for me. But I'm really, really excited, and I can't wait to see you all in St. Louis. So I wanna give you a chance to learn a little bit about Allison's session and give you my elevator pitch for it. And I hope you're excited about going. So Allison's session is actually on Sunday from 11 to 12. And she used a word, a phrase to describe her session that like really got the teacher nerd in me going. She's going to be talking about action research. So if you're a teacher nerd like me, and when you hear action research, you know you want to be at this session. But she's going to particularly shed light on how they have used Hour of Code and have gone beyond just that Hour of Code to really get into decoding literacy practices at their school. Like if I could, like, just saying all this is making me want to like get the slides, like read the notes, ask questions, and really figure out like how would this work in my school? How would I actually be able to do this with my students? So if you've never heard of Hour of Code, or if you've never heard of a teacher using coding to teach literacy skills, you need to go see Allison. So again, Sunday from 11 to 12, and I hope you check that session off. Allison, do you want to add anything else about your session that you hope people learn and walk away from?
Absolutely. So I think, just like you do, I learn aside my audience when I present. So it's nice to have those questions and to kind of get the kinks worked out. But I want, students or teachers to walk away with a toolbox of resources. So we made sure to create a live binder of resources, and we try to cover all content areas and how we integrated it. But I think teachers will see that Hour of Code doesn't have to be an add-on, if you will, that you can certainly bring it into other subject areas, not just reading, but kind of how we involved our whole school community in this and what is possible. But like you, I want it to be more of a dialogue. So feel free to ask questions, tweet questions. I'm more than happy to answer them or to provide additional research or ideas.
So I'm sorry if I gave the impression that it's like all literacy. I love how our Hour of Code in your work is, actually flattening those boundaries of subject areas. And like I said, I will be looking for tweets from this session, and I will be looking especially for the tweet to that live binder, because like I said, I'm a teacher nerd and I love collecting resources. Sometimes I feel like I collect a lot of stuff and I need to actually find time to put it into practice. I'm constantly like saving things, but I need to find time to put it into practice. Where do you wanna go? Are there any questions from the Twitterverse that are coming up? Let's see. If people want to tweet us questions, ILA Hangout is a hashtag that we are following, or directly reply to one of us, and we will surely answer your question in this Hangout. We see that there are few of you watching online. Maybe you can take to the Twitter and say hi, or just share a question or something that you're excited about, and we'll share it on the Hangout.
So definitely a lot of people excited, and I know that people are in that packing mode, if you will. And I know that you can speak to this as well, but I want to just emphasize that as you go to pack not only your clothing and you've printed out your flight information and your hotel information and your conference registration, that you also make some room in your bag for some snacks. Lines can be really long between sessions, and these days seem to be packed, and so I would hate for participants to miss a session that they're looking forward to because they're waiting in line for beverage or waiting in line for food. So it's always helpful to bring, and I find this very helpful when I travel, an empty water bottle. So when you go through security, it's empty, and then once you get on the other side, if you're traveling through flying, you can just fill up that water bottle or have that ready to go at the conference.
So I wanna share a couple of tips of mine as well, and I'm sure Allison has a few more. I think there's a lot of pressure to always be on at conferences, and I actually intentionally in the morning take time to write or even meditate, or this is ambitious, but work out if you can. Just take some time for yourself before you go into an all day of networking and connecting and learning, because like Allison said, these days can be long. And for some of us who need that recharging, it might be helpful to be aware of our needs before we get started on the day. And then during the day, don't be afraid to just step to the side and take some time to write, to reflect, to take notes, to synthesize notes. I think it's okay if you do some reflection actually while the conference is going on. And if you need to take some time to recharge, you should certainly do that. And then this last tip, I think, will sound maybe counterintuitive in some ways, but I think it goes hand in hand. While you're taking time to recharge and be by yourself, don't be afraid to say hi to people. I love it when I go to conferences and people are like, "Oh my God, I love AngChat," or like, "Oh my God, I read Thrive." Nothing gives me, a bigger kick than meeting people who have been impacted by my small effort to make a difference in our profession. So if you see me, or if you see someone else from Twitter or from a network, or someone's work, go tell them that you love their work or you were impacted in some ways by it. You will certainly make their day, and you will just make another awesome connection at the conference. So take the time to say hi to someone, and not be afraid to meet new people. Have your conference buddy, have your conference crew, but don't just, be inclusive, invite other people to dinner. If you see someone sitting by themselves, ask them to join your table. Let's make this an inviting space for all people.
So we just had our first question come through Twitter with Libby, and she asked, how do I get into session? And you are correct. Most sessions are first come, first serve. So once they do fill up, participants can wait outside. But they are, for the most part, first come, first serve. I know that the pre-conference sessions have to be pre-registered for. Author luncheons have to be pre-registered for. Tickets have to be purchased in advance, if you will. But most sessions at ILA are first come, first serve.
So Jennifer Hewlett, sorry Jen if I am mispronouncing your name, just gave us a shout out. She said, great tips so far. This will be my first conference. So Jen, we can't wait to see you at ILA.
Wonderful. Yeah. And, I just want to echo a few things that that Mia's already mentioned, but just emphasize that, have that conference buddy, and don't be afraid if that conference buddy isn't necessarily like your school partner. You can totally have one that's like your Twitter partner that's attending ILA, that you can say, what sessions are you attending? I'm interested in these, and kind of make a game plan, if you will, and divide and conquer. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I can give, that if, sometimes we have sessions that overlap or that are going on simultaneously, that you can't attend both, can't be at two places at once. But if you divide and conquer and then meet up again later to share kind of reflections or notes, I've always found that's a great way to get your bang for your buck. But if you're going solo to this conference, I definitely encourage social media. So the ILA hashtag is going to be convenient for you to kind of get the notes and the live binder links and the resources tabs. And I don't know if anyone else has a favorite way to do it, but I typically favor these, or I will make a document for them that I can go ahead and just kind of go back in. I know at a few conferences we've had a kind of a shared Google Doc that we pass around where we'll post interesting links so that we can just reference one document as opposed to filtering through our Twitter feed.
That was the next area that I wanted to get into. What are some like tech or life hacks to having a successful conference experience? Of course, you'll want to download the ILA app so you can, know the layout of the conference, so you can see the conference schedule. If there are any conference schedule changes made, those will probably be reflected in the app. So if there are room changes, you can quickly access them. So I strongly recommend downloading the ILA app. One of the things that I like doing is creating like an Evernote, note for ongoing notes, and it's like all in one place, and I can go back and synthesize. Often I've heard people say that Twitter is their note-taking app. Like if they like something that they hear in a session, they'll actually tweet it out or they'll favorite it, and that's their like live note-taking. Some of my more artistic and talented friends actually do sketch notes. I'm always blown away when I'm sitting next to someone at a conference and their page is like a work of art. And mine is, just like a regular scribble, chicken scratch notes. But find what way it works for you to connect and build on the ideas that you hear of, and always ask the question, how will this help my students? How will this help my students? That makes it possible for me to not lose context of a session and bring it right back to what my learning needs are. Allison, any tech or life hacks you have?
I was just going to kind of elaborate just on the tech part. In addition to the tweeting and you mentioned reflecting, I just want to add that some people that have class blogs or their personal blogs find it helpful to digest the information is to blog, and certainly create the space to do that. I find it after a full day of attending a conference that it can be overwhelming, and so whether that's a journal note or go ahead and just marking some things. But I think when you blog about something, it really helps to synthesize your information, but also to provide an authentic audience. So when you put it out on Twitter, you'll get kind of some feedback, and you'll also get, I feel like, an empowerment for yourself when you share these thoughts and get kind of comments with colleagues that maybe you even haven't met or that aren't attending the conference or that are attending the conference that were in that same session.
And don't forget to give kudos to people. Like if somebody's doing an awesome job presenting, maybe it's their first time presenting, like give them kudos in person on Twitter. You'll make their day. So that's certainly another way to help other conference attendees learn from you and with you, even if they might not be in the same session as you.
Right, and I want to highlight as well that most teachers have their own goals or things that they're working on, and oftentimes when you pick sessions and you're between sessions to pick, maybe there's two at the same time or two that overlap, to lean in to those areas that you're working on or thinking about working on. Sometimes I know when I reflect on my own personal notes, I often see a theme, whether that's I'm working on points from my teacher evaluation using the Danielson framework that maybe I got marks that I want to work on, or just conversations with colleagues that I've had that I think would be meaningful. Maybe I'm attending a session for a colleague or a group of teachers where I'm having a professional learning community. There's usually a reason, or usually I see a theme running through the sessions that I attend.
Allison, I want to give you a shout out for live tweeting and live Google Hangout. You do it all. So I'm impressed. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? You're like, you make it look so easy.
Oh, I try. It's hard.
So let's get to some of the non-conference related learning and exploration and fun that you can have while you're in St. Louis. I think teachers are so focused on meeting objectives and meeting the needs of their students, and this is what I love about teachers. I think they work so hard, but I think it's important that we also take the time to explore, and especially when we're in a new place, that we take on a new point of view and are able to see things anew that we would not be able to otherwise. So this is not like a really profound thing that I want to say, but toasted raviolis are a St. Louis specialty, and I am going to try to find. So if anybody at ILA wants to go with me on a run for toasted raviolis, they're like these breaded raviolis, and you dip them in marinara sauce. I'm hungry already just talking about it. If anybody wants to go discover the St. Louis treat, they should tweet me or find me, and we'll go make a run for it. So, are there other things that you're looking forward to doing, Allison, while you're in St. Louis?
So I attend to, I've been to St. Louis once before, and a definite must, and we'll definitely see it because it's not far from where we are, is definitely going to the Arch. I think as educators, it's so nice to fall back in our comfort zone, and attending a conference, we're definitely going into our stretch zone, if you will, and we learn best when we're challenged. And I think when you go to a conference, sometimes you just get lost in the landscape of the conference, that you forget to involve the outside world of that conference, whether that's the venue that you're attending the conference in, or the hotel, kind of that distance that you walk, you kind of forget to take in the sights. And so the Arch is definitely on my list, even though I've already been to go again. So I'll be tweeting out a time that I'll be going later, and so if anybody wants to meet up, I'm happy to go with you. And it's a nice elevator ride up, but the views up atop are just absolutely stunning, and you'll see the river cross and the state lines, and definitely some photo worthy shots there.
And if you have friends in St. Louis, like, meet them go where the locals are, meet them for lunch, meet them for dinner. Two of my really good friends, Kevin and Jenny, live in St. Louis. They're my college friends. I'm gonna text them and see if they're around, and see if we can meet up. So again, take advantage of you being in St. Louis. Explore all that it has to offer, and have some fun learning as well.
No, certainly, and I know it's going to be really hot, like you mentioned. So one of the stops that I'm looking forward to, maybe getting in on a hot afternoon, is popsicles, and they have some really neat popsicle shops in St. Louis. One of them is the Whisk Base Shop, and They just make kind of grown-up versions of popsicles, so they have flavors like peach and blackberry, avocado, cucumber, lime. But there's one that apparently is all the rave that I'm looking forward to trying, and it's a lavender lemonade popsicle. I think that's just going to be very refreshing, especially after just attending a conference and also being outside in the nice summer weather.
So, I didn't. Maybe we should check the Twitter feed again, but I didn't see lots of questions. There are a couple of people who are sharing with us that it's their first time. I think we shared some general conference tips, but are there tips that you specifically have for first time attendees, Allison?
So for first time attendees, definitely I would say like my must haves would be to download the ILA app for sure, so you can find out, like you said, about canceled sessions or sessions that are moved. I would recommend planning out sessions before you attend. Oftentimes, when you get to a conference, it's you're excited to see people that you don't make your selections until later. And I think if you go in with a schedule, even though that might change, a tentative schedule, it's better to have kind of an outline so you kind of know where you're going. And so if a session is full, you might have a backup. So maybe if you have 2 sessions, I would definitely recommend a session you really want, selecting a backup in case it is full. So again, to kind of recap, ILO planner, plan your day, pick a few backups in your sessions. So if they are full or maybe you can't get to a spot, you have kind of another one to attend. I would say just kind of check in with colleagues as well, or counterparts that you're meeting, maybe via Twitter, that you're kind of getting the information that you want to get out of the conference. But I will be there for the whole conference, and if you have any questions or need anything, I'm more than happy to help you or answer any questions that you have to get you adjusted. I know the first conference can be overwhelming because one thing that will just kind of suck you in, which is a good thing, is the, I don't want to say resource center, but the place where like the book signings are and all the publishers and the products that we have. It can kind of get cumbersome going through that because you'll go in for one thing and you'll see the Scholastic booth, and then you'll see a booth for a tech product that you're interested in, and you'll lose track of time. So I would definitely say, schedule time to go to where the vendors are, make the visits there. Definitely hit the vendors that you see. They're often so thankful to get your feedback and praise about the products that you're using, or even ask questions. I know I was able to meet with Raz Kids, which is a program that I use at my school, and ask them some questions about just a new interface that they were using, and they were able to give me some kind of justification as to why they changed that. And it was really nice to have that conversation live with someone as opposed to sending the email waiting for the response. So
if you check out the app, you'll be able to see author luncheons, and I don't know if any of the author signing information is there, but again, Twitter is the best way. Hashtag ILA15 is the hashtag, and you can see when your favorite authors are signing, what luncheons are going on, what sessions you might not have heard about that you might want to attend. But again, following the conference through Twitter might make it possible for you to manage it all. So should we close this out, Allison, or do you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I think we got all of the outside ILA events. Just one more ILA event is the Literacy Night at the ballpark, which is Saturday. The baseball game will be against the St. Louis Cardinals against the New York Mets. They have a link for that in the app, the ILA app, as well as online. And I believe that you can still purchase tickets for both the author luncheon and the Literacy Night. You can find out more information online and through the app.
Awesome. So again, I am Meenoo Rami. My session is Saturday from 11 to 12. I am signing my book Thrive at 1 o'clock. Come and find me at ILA, and you can find me on Twitter at Meenoo Rami And I hope to connect with you while we're both at this conference together.
Yes, and I as well look forward to connecting with you. I am Allison Hogan, and my Twitter handle is Allison Hogan EDU. And if you have any questions about the conference or about our hangout tonight, please feel free to contact either one of us. But we hope to see you all in St. Louis, and have a wonderful evening and safe travels to everyone.
And the ILA account on Twitter just gave me another awesome tip. And I just want to end with that. Wear comfy shoes. This is an important tip. So safe travels, and we'll see you in St. Louis. All right. Take care. Allison, thanks for doing this with me. I really enjoyed our conversation. And I want to talk about the other thing we talked about earlier.
Yes.
All right. Let's make it happen. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.